Of course. Okay, so YouTube hates me. This is like the third time I tried to do this, and of course, the time it does work, my cover photo's like this, going trying to grab my book. All right. I don't know why it takes me at least 3 times for it to actually go live. Hi, guys. All right, book review time. This was so good, I finished it tonight. I couldn't stop reading the stories. Okay. So the book is Vampires Never Get Old by various authors. And we'll discuss who the authors are. It's a bunch of short stories about vampires. Teenagers! We give this, ready, Jake? Jake likes doing this with me. Ready? Okay. 3.5 stars. Okay. If this is your first time, I a sneeze was going to come. There we go. Okay. So, what I do is I go through each story and I tell you why I liked it, why I thought it was meh, or if I didn't like it. I gave this 3.5 stars because the majority of it I liked. And some were meh. So that's why I gave it 3.5 instead of 4 or 5. Okay. And I have notes, so if I'm not looking at my bottom of my computer, that is why. Okay, so let me scroll up. Because, I tend to forget. Plus, I don't want to have to... Right, so let's begin. 7 Nights for Dying by Tessa Gratton. It was a different story. Let's see, what did I put? It was a different story about a vampire who wants to change a teenage girl to a vampire, which takes 7 nights to change her. Interesting because it's told in her perspective, so you see the struggles within herself to decide what is best for her. Also, I didn't see it coming about her mom. That totally shocked me. So I liked it. I thought it was a different take about becoming a vampire. So it was interesting. Mm-hmm. All right, the second one I remember. The Boys from Blood River by Rebecca Roanhorse. And that's funny because I literally just read another story from her recently. It was a cool story about a loner who sings a song and conjures up some vampires. So, yeah. Oh, sorry it's bright. It's my Word document. So, yeah. It kind of reminded me a lot of True Blood. Dead Until Dark. Storyish type. And at the end, he could question, did he join the vampires or didn't he? If you don't know, sorry for giving the spoiler alert, but I did. All right. Senior Year Sucks by Julie Murphy. If you don't know Julie Murphy, she wrote Dumplin' and other books, but this is the first I've ever read one of her stories. I haven't read her books yet. It was an interesting story about a Slayer cheerleader who meets her match with a young vampire. So I like the fact that there was a Slayer in it, vampire Slayer, and that she was a cheerleader. And the fact that she met her match. Ooh, so I'm going to say. The Boy and the Bill by Heidi. And I don't know if I'm saying it right, the last name right. Heidi Heilig. This was a meh. This was my meh story. So it was not my favorite. So I guess the boy can sense. Well, let me do a little synopsis about this story. Apparently, people in the town are thinking that dead. They're burying the dead alive. But the boy is kind of hesitant and to believe that, so he goes to the graveyard to check. And I guess when one of the vampires rises, a bell rings, so he hears the bell. So the story is about him finding a vampire and talking to him. That's why I was like, meh. A guidebook for the newly sired Desi Vampire by Samira Ahmed. It was also a meh. So I think I had literally 2 meh stories. The Boy and the Bell, the guidebook for the newly sired Desi Vampire. It was basically, and I didn't understand quite a bit of it. So, what did I write here? Oh, so it was written like, welcome welcome to vampirism. This is what you should expect. But it's like the company writing or the company website. Yeah, it was like, In Kind by Kayla Whaley. I can't speak tonight. It was a good story about a father who. Oh yeah. No, I remember. Excuse me, I don't have any water. So in this story, In Kind, the father kills his disabled daughter to show her mercy because he's like, he doesn't. I guess it's only him and his daughter, and I think she was. He injected her a lot of morphine. However, is she really dead? As you know, the theme of this book is vampires. So what happens? So it was really interesting. I enjoyed it a lot. Vampires Never Say Die by the two editors, Zoraida Cordova and Natalie C. Parker. So this was an interesting story. This is kind of like a newer version of a vampire story. So this girl who gets a lot of Instagram followers, I guess she's kind of a goth girl, and she befriends this vampire, which she doesn't realize is a vampire. So she throws this birthday party for her. This vampire girl invites all her vampire friends, which, again, she doesn't know they're really vampires. And when she finds out, it's hilarious. And there's some good ass kicking in it. So I enjoyed it. Yes. Okay, this one I really liked. Not one of my favorites. My favorites is at the end. Bestiary, not Bestiary, Bestiary by Laura Ruby. So this was a great story. So this girl works at a zoo and she talks to animals. And she's a different type of vampire. And I'm not going to say what because I'm not going to spoil it. Because you really find out, I think, at the end what she is. But really good story. Loved it. That's all I'm going to say. Mirrors, Windows, and Selfies. By Mark. Hold on, I got to see the full name here. Mark Oshiro. Okay. See, toward the end, the stories get so much better. This wasn't the last story, though. I got like 2 more after this. So, Mirrors, Windows, and Selfies is about a vampire who was born by vampires. And his parents protected him all his life, saying, you can't leave. We're here to protect you. You have to stay with us. And something happens to where he finds out that he's not the only one. That's all I'm going to say. Such a good story. The House of Black Sapphires by Danielle Clayton. Also a good story. So the Black Sapphires is a vampire family of girls, husband and wife, and I think like 4 or 5 girls. So they had to move again because people were realizing they're vampires, so they moved back to their mom's hometown of New Orleans. And they go to this party with a lot of other non-humans. And there's these things called I can't remember the name. But anyway, she meets her what her mother calls their enemies. Shadow something. And she strikes up a conversation with this guy. And at the end, it's left wide open, so you don't know what truly happens, which is really cool. It was a good story. All right, so my favorite one is First Kill by Victoria V.E. Schwab. If you don't know, I love her because I've been reading her City Ghost series, children's books. So First Kill is the best story in the book, okay? So it's about a vampire who's ready to make her first kill and a vampire slayer who's ready to make her first kill. Such a good story. And of course, the end doesn't end. So if Victoria wants a book about this and continue on the story, I would be more than happy to get it and read it and be excited about it. Okay. All right. So that's all the stories. Also, too, and I started reading them and then I was kind of bored, but it's just me. But in between these stories, Zoraida and Natalie, the two editors, they make a little blurb in the middle about the previous story and they ask you a question and think about it. What would your shapeshifter be? What would Would you mind being buried in a coffin? Like, I guess they like to do the questions to ponder about, but for me, I thought it was meh. I just want to get to the next story. But for those who want to read the middle one pager, questions about the story and stuff, that it's good for discussion. Like if you're having a book club with this book, that would be great. All right. So that's that. So, long review. Let me minimize this now so it's not in my way. You never meant to poor beavers. Okay. Now it gets darker. Woo! So that was Vampires Never Get Old, and this is a 2020 book that just came out by various authors. And it actually is a young adult book because it's all about teens. All right. And we gave this, ready, Jake? 3.5 stars. All right. That is it for me tonight. I believe, yes. All right. Hopefully you guys are having a great weekend. I know I am because today's my Friday. Whoop, 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 whoop. So looking forward to decorating my tree tomorrow, ordering more Christmas gifts online, and wrapping up gifts. Such a busy, busy day tomorrow. Woohoo! Jake likes when I hold his ears and swing him back and forth. All right. All right. So happy reading, guys. Have a great night. Until later. We see you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.